Good morning, everybody. This is O-Sensei from American Jiu-Jitsu Centers. Today, we're doing orange belt with a black stripe. We are practicing social distancing. Shihan Billy and Shihan Kathy has volunteered to come to the dojo. Notice we have more than 6 feet apart. They're a married couple. They do live in the same home. So they have volunteered themselves to come and demonstrate the techniques to you. So we have both the uki and the tora, which means one person doing the technique and one person receiving the technique. So it'll make it a little bit easier than me trying to maneuver some of these techniques myself, and that's what I've been doing. All right, so thank you very much for showing up. We appreciate that. So I'm going to be narrating it and telling about what they're doing, and they're going to be demonstrating. All right, so the first, we're going to do 3 techniques. Like I said, the first one is the front guillotine choke, where a person comes and tries to grab you in a front guillotine choke when their head is to your center of your body. The second one is going to be a front finger choke when a person is trying to hurt your windpipe. And the next technique is going to be a double lapel grab, and they're trying to pull you in and fight with you. So I'm going to step out of the camera. I'm going to put Sensei Shihan Billy and Shihan Kathy in focus, and you'll be watching them do the techniques, and I'll be navigating you through the techniques. Okay? So enjoy. Okay. First technique is a front guillotine choke. All right? The front guillotine choke initially is very important with the front guillotine choke that you stop the choke, okay? Just wave that hand that's choking. No, you won't, right? You stop that choking hand and you pin that hand to your body. So Shihan Billy, who's in the black gi, is pinning the hand to the body, which is going to disallow that person from choking you. Now from here, with that ridge hand that we learned in an earlier video, you're going to strike to the person's groin, which is going to make that person release. Remember, we are not a competitive art, so we don't have any rules, so we can do whatever we want. Now, that might be the final shot that you need, but we don't count on that. So as he strikes, he walks out what we call the front door, turns and fires a strike right to the person's face. Now, if that strike knocks a person down, that's fine. So we don't have to answer that question, but what we talk about is what if the person comes back? Well, Sensei Billy's going to take his right knee, drive it right into Sensei Kathy, and he's going to finish off with a downward elbow strike right to the person's back. So let's look at that technique one more time, okay? One more time. So now we're going to take it from the other side. Shihan Kathy puts the choke on. Sensei Billy, first he secures the pin, strikes to the person's groin, walk out the front door, punches the person, grabs the person, knee strikes, and finishes off with a downward elbow strike. That's technique number 1. Next technique we're going to talk about is a front finger choke, okay? Now, with a front finger choke, you have to realize that a person is trying to collapse your windpipe. This is a very lethal type of a technique when putting it on. Understand that most people, when they get choked, or when they're in a panic situation, the first thing to do is they breathe in. And what they're doing is they're actually collapsing their own windpipe. I have done this technique at the Pentagon. I have invited this biggest, strongest person in the room to come up on the mat, put their hands around me, and try to choke me to death. One of the soldiers said to me, "Sir, I've killed people before." I said, "I understand. I'm going to ask you to put your hands around my neck. I'm going to ask you to choke me. And when I tap you, which I'm not going to do technique to you, I want you to stop." And they all done it. And they give me big red marks around my neck, but they're not able to choke me. Now, that's just for a period of time. I wouldn't stay there forever. I'm just trying to prove a point. My point is that when most people panic on this technique, they breathe in and their windpipe collapses. They actually collapse their own windpipe. What I want you to do is breathe out, almost like kind of like Santa Claus. Okay, I want you to go, ho, ho, to give yourself a few seconds to be able to do the technique I'm going to show. This technique has a lot of principles in it. One is to breathe out, to expand your windpipe. So you breathe out. 2 is we move our body as a unit, okay? So when we move our body, our right hand in this case is going to come way up high. We're going to turn our body, and most importantly when you do this, you want to keep your feet planted, because this choke is kind of like if you were up against a wall, and it's also learning principles. We will talk about later on if a person's choking and moving us, but for now, either we're up against a wall or we're showing you the principle about not moving. Because if you move and they apply pressure, you're going to fall down. So it's a little tough, but everything is tough when you don't know how to do it. Until you learn how to do it, it becomes very easy. All right? So you're going to see Shihan Kathy and Shihan Billy do it, but I want to show you some of the principles. So from here, we bring the hand up like we're raising our hand in school. Okay? First thing we want to do, though, is we want to take our chin and turn it to the side and kind of be like Santa. We want to breathe out. So we turn it to the side and we go ho, ho, ho. I'm doing it in steps now. Ho, ho, ho. We bring the hand up in the same direction our head went. We bring the hand up, we turn the body as a unit, and now we're going to take this top hand and we're going to put it into our hip pocket, okay? And remember in one of the first videos I showed you a reverse elbow strike? We're going to put it here. We're going to take this hand and we're going to pin the hands that are around my neck and we're going to strike 1, 2, 3 to the person's face. That might be all we need. But if not, I'm going to grab this other hand, I'm going to bring it around and do what we call an armbar, which will be clearer when they do the technique. So this is front finger choke into what we call a wakigatami. Interpreted would be an armpit armbar. All right, so take a look. So they put the techniques, do it this way, please. Do it this way.
This way?
Yeah, they put the technique. Notice, so I'll talk you through Sensei, Shihan. He brings the hand up, see it's up, he's turned his head, he's breathed out. Notice how he's pinning both hands. He comes around, he puts the hand in his hip pocket, okay? In his hip pocket, right here, okay? Hip pocket, and he's gonna strike. He's gonna grab the hand, now he's gonna take the right hand and go clockwise. He's gonna come over the top, and he's gonna put what we call a wakigatami armbar. You could always turn to show that a little bit better. Turn one more time to show it a little bit better, and it's right there. So let's do it from the other side. So we're gonna do that hip pocket thing by putting it right in there. So front finger choke, watch, he comes up, he takes the hand, he puts it all the way like he's putting it in his hip pocket, he strikes with an elbow strike, you can do that multiple times if you like. He takes the right hand, he goes clockwise with it, comes over the top, and puts